Hey guys, Marciningen here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and today we are going to go over the upcoming World Tournament reward Trunks. I know most people have gone over this already, so I thought we would talk about this unit and then compare him to the other Super Trunks units and have a bit of a discussion about them and this form in general in Dokkan and what we could potentially see in the future. So this is the unit that you will be getting if you get into the top 10k or higher in the World Tournament that starts around this time tomorrow. So one interesting thing to note is they are changing his leader skill for global. So his leader skill is going to be int types, ki +2, HP and attack 50%, whereas on JP it's just int types, attack 50%. So the thing that's weird about that is they're updating his leader skill, but it's still bad. You still probably wouldn't use him as a leader. You know, even though he's technically an extreme type, if you were free to play or low on options, the Dabura from the barbershop is a much better leader than this guy. So you're probably never going to use him as a leader, even with the updated leader skill. His super attack is the Buster Cannon, which does supreme damage, which is fairly straightforward. Supreme damage is pretty much the common thing you'd expect to see on SSRs now. His passive, Unbreakable Confidence, gives himself ki +2 and attack 60% when HP is 30% or above. So it's kind of annoying that it has a restriction, because obviously if you're below that, then he essentially has no passive. But at least it's not a super difficult restriction to meet. And then his Link skill, it's very typical of Trunks units. He has things like Messenger from the Future, which is an old, outdated attack link. I think only Cells and Trunks have it anyway. But Super Saiyan, Royal Lineage, Z Fighters, Soul vs Soul, and Golden Warrior. And he is in the Hybrid Saiyans category. He has a 12 key multiplier of 135%. So not particularly great overall. The thing that's really odd about this guy, so you can see here, it's the World Tournament number 20 for us. He came to JP in their World Tournament number 14. I think they are on either their 22nd or 23rd at the moment as well. So this unit is incredibly old. And it seems like a really odd decision to add him into global now. What I feel like they should have done is what they did with the AGL Bardock, where he got an awakening on JP, and then when they added him into the game for global, they just put him straight into the prize pool from the SSR summons, and they made his awakening available straight away as well. So if you pulled him on that first World Tournament where he was added, you'd be able to awaken him straight away, and his awakened form is actually pretty decent, whereas his original SSR form was very outdated, very much like this guy. So it seems odd. I would have thought they should have given him an awakening on JP, then added him to global and done the exact same thing where they just made his awakening available straight away. So there's not a huge amount else really to say about him, so I thought it'd be interesting to compare him to the other Super Trunks units. So this is the physical one. He only does extreme damage with his super attack. His passive is that he weakens regeneration and attack plus 40%, so not as good as the int one. Lower attack boost, doesn't give himself ki. Has the exact same link set, and funnily enough so does the other one. So he is worse overall. And then the STR one again is extreme damage, attack plus 50% when ki is 5 or more. So obviously on the right team nowadays you're always going to have a minimum of 6 keys, since pretty much all the leaders give 3. So that's always going to go off. So that's guaranteed, but still slightly worse than the int one. And of course he only does extreme damage. But the main difference is these two have awakenings. So the STR one goes up to being supreme damage and also lowers defense. He becomes attack plus 70% just at the start of the turn with no restriction, and he picks up Fierce Battle because he awakens with the medals from the INT Future Trunks event. So that makes him better than the int one overall. Obviously you can't use him on an int team, but if you really wanted to use a Super Trunks on a Hybrid Saiyans team, he's already better than that guy. and his awakening has been out since the INT Future Trunks. And then the physical one, again, those Future Trunks medals, he awakens and goes up to supreme damage. He also gets a Kaioken mechanic where he raises his attack for 3 turns, so if he's on the main rotation you can build his attack up a little bit, and his passive goes up to giving himself 4 ki and 60% attack at the start of the turn. That's just, again, uncategorically, he just gets it. So this guy gives himself 2 less ki, and only when your HP is 30% or above. Now obviously these two are TURs now, so you would expect them to be a little bit better, but this is the main problem with them adding him into the game now, is the fact that he is outdated. Like, for the meta that we have now, unless you don't have either of the other two, you're just never going to use this guy. Like, if for some reason you really want to use a Super Trunks on your team and you have all 3 of them, I would say this one is the best one. They all have the same links, except obviously this one and the strength one have fierce battle. But his super attack has the attack raising mechanic, and he gives himself 60% attack and 4 ki. So he's pretty much guaranteed to super, since, as we say, if you're starting the turn with 6 ki, you're starting with 10. So you only need to pick up 2, and you're very rarely going to be in that situation where you can only pick up 1 orb. This guy gives himself 10% extra attack, but he doesn't give himself ki, and his super attack lowers defense, which is kind of useless outside of the Broly events. Plus, personally, I prefer the art for this one. But so yeah, the physical one is the best one. So this guy desperately needs an awakening, but the whole point of the video, really, as many others have said in their coverage, is the age-old question of, is he worth grinding for as the World Tournament reward card? And as I'm sure you would all expect and probably know at this point, the general consensus is no, he's not. It'll be very interesting to see how many people do actually grind for the higher spots in this tournament, because obviously he is the main reward and he's not really worth it. Obviously the higher you finish, the more little extra things they chuck in, like Hercule statues and Supreme Elder Kais to raise the super attack. I think you can get 1 extra for each of those higher tiers that you climb near when you start getting to like the top, you know, top 5,000, top 1,000 sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how many people actually bother to grind that high, considering this guy's not really worth it. I feel like if he had an awakening on JP already, even if we weren't getting it, if he had an awakening on JP and the awakening was good, then more people would probably be motivated to actually grind for him now and then wait for his awakening to come. But since he doesn't even have one on JP, that means on global we're looking forward to at least 6 months where he's not going to get one, and that's even if he got it on JP like tomorrow. We'd still have to probably wait 6 months for us to get it. Sometimes they do introduce them early. In fact, I would almost imagine if they've been listening and they've heard the feedback about this guy, I would kind of hope that if and when he gets an awakening on JP, they'll just add it straight away to global with our next tournament, because obviously all of these tournament units awaken with the Masters Mark medals, so hopefully he will get one eventually and they will add it to global as soon as it becomes available on JP, although you never know. So let me know in the comments, what do you think his awakening should be? Considering what this Trunks does, I feel like giving himself the 4 ki would be good as a bit of a boost. And then he already has attack plus 60%. Honestly, if they want to make him relevant, this should probably be at least 90%, if not 100%. And then just get rid of this part completely. So just make it ki plus 4 and attack plus 100%. And the supreme damage, obviously it's not going to go to immense, but maybe they could add the Kaioken mechanic as well. Because even with that mechanic, with only the 60%, this guy is not particularly overpowered. You don't really see him ever get used on Hybrid Saiyans or super physical teams. So for this guy to stand a chance to get used on those teams, he would need at least 100% and 4 ki, I would say. But let me know what you think. The other thing I thought would be interesting is if we were to ever get a Super Trunks that was actually good. People have talked about, in terms of categories, they would like to see a Cell Saga category. And I think it'd be quite interesting, since that's all the rage with the cards that they're doing at the moment. if we got a Super Saiyan Trunks in the Saiyan armor, who then has the transformation mechanic and transforms into Super Trunks as the Cell Saga category leader. So let me know what you think about that. What do you think his abilities should be, or do you think the Cell Saga leader should be someone else? Obviously, you'd think an obvious choice would be Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, since he's the one who defeats Cell, but of course you then wouldn't be able to use LR Gohan in that category, so I imagine if they were going to do it, they probably won't use him as a leader, because LR Gohan is not in any categories that have higher than 130% attack, which is the Hybrid Saiyans. So if they made this one of those 170% attack and defense and 130% key, or HP, or 150% to all three, he would be better on that team. And obviously the other choice would be a Cell, but I have a feeling that we'll see an LR Cell sometime in the future, so who knows. But yeah, let me know, would you like to see a new Super Trunks that is actually good, or who else would you have as the Cell Saga category leader? Also, let me know whether you are going to be grinding the tournament, how high you're going to aim to go, or are you just going to do the missions and then stop. Obviously I am going to stream as well as do a couple of videos. We'll probably do some more interesting challenges, so if there's a particular team that you want to see me try and take on the ×30 difficulty with, let me know in the comments as well, or you can follow me on Twitter at @TheMaskedNingen. Let me know any suggestions there as well. So I look forward to interacting with you guys down in the comments. It's just a brief summary of this unit. I thought we'd add a little bit of a different angle rather than just go over this guy and say, no, he's terrible, you don't need to grind for him. Have a little bit of a talk about the other Super Trunkses and where this form could potentially go in the game. Obviously it didn't really do much in the show because it was inadequate to combat Cell, but it would be interesting to see a Super Trunks card that was actually good. So let me know in the comments, and I will speak to you down there, I'm sure. Let's get the discussion going, especially about the Cell Saga category, because I think that could be very interesting. So we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers here on the channel, so hashtag 1000 Mortals plan all over the comments, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.